There she is, the beauty queen that wears the mask found on the floor.
Are we revisiting that already? Are you
I
trying
mean,
to?
hottest podcast of the year. Why are we not?
Hey, I mean, the truth sells, I guess.
Are you trying to? You're trying to stay away from that? Was that what you're telling me?
No, I'm not avoiding anything. I'm not afraid of anything.
No.
Please, we've only scratched the surface of the embarrassing things you and I could talk about. Let's be
Right.
honest.
Right. Yeah. I just, I mean, we've got our anti-maskers out there, and then we've got our. I don't even know what we call you. The anti-maskers and the remaskers. I don't even. It's like it's like a regifter.
It's not. It's not like it's a policy or a political stance of any kind here. It was just me.
Being a dirty fuck.
Well, there's that. It's called.
Let's be real.
Not thinking things out, or making the best of a situation, not realizing that I didn't have to do that. Whatever. I don't. Come on.
Whatever it is.
Yeah,
Whatever it is.
Yeah. If anyone has no idea what we're talking about, shame on you. Go listen to the Ben and the Dirty Ben and the Mask story.
Is that the title? Is that what we?
It's something like that. It's like I made it a play on like Dirty Mike and the Boys from that movie with Will Ferrell, where the homeless man had a orgy in his car and left him a note.
I've never seen that. I don't even know what movie you're talking about.
He's like a cop. He's like a cop with Mark Wahlberg, and I think it's called The Other Guys. And like at the beginning of that movie, they're like the other guys compared to like there's a really good partner.
Good cops.
There's two really good cops, and they're
right.
Sam Jackson and The Rock, and for some reason they like early in the movie get themselves killed or injured, and these are the other guys, quote unquote.
Never seen it.
Oh, it's a really funny movie, really funny. Anyway, there's a part in that movie where I guess homeless people had an orgy in his car, and and Will Ferrell has like some kind of like plug-in car, when they used to make fun of e-cars, and the note is signed "Dirty Mike and the Boys," that just had an orgy in his car. So.
Now I almost want to watch it. Just that clip.
If you watch that movie, you would call and thank me afterwards. It's funny. It's worth seeing once.
Really?
It's worth seeing once, definitely. I'm not
a movie. Like, listen, I can't partake in your nerd podcast that you started doing.
That's fine.
Which cheap plug for it.
Yeah.
Well, listen. I don't watch movies.
Here, listen. Well, I get that, but a lot of people do, and a lot of people have more interest than just pussy in sports. I like I like those things too, but I have other interests as well. So and food. I think I narrowed it down.
Right. I mean, you pretty just summed up my adult life.
I mean, I get it. You're into like reality-driven stuff, pussy, sports, and food.
Right.
No reason to watch a show about a fake hamburger where you could just eat a real one.
Right.
I get you.
Right. I just and I don't like. Okay, so you're gonna hate me for this. Okay, so a new podcast was started.
I hate you for not calling me back today. I hate you for a lot of things.
Right.
But yeah.
I know. I forgot.
Yeah,
but you guys started another podcast. What is it called?
I think we call it Nerd Stuff. I really can't.
What do you even talk about?
We talk about like sci-fi movies and comic books and all that shit that Marco and I are into. That he wants.
Wow.
He constantly. I try and drive him away from talking about it on the other podcast because I know that's
right.
not. But he wants to talk about it. So then I pushed it to the end of the podcast so that people that tuned in to hear what we normally talk about, which is just us telling jerk-off stories or whatever the fuck we talk about there, that basically the same shit we talk about here with less food involved, that he way less food involved, that I was like, fuck it, he keeps wanting to talk about this shit, so I get it. Like if you're not into it, if I push it to the end, you can just stop listening, 30 minutes before the end of the podcast. But then I'm like, fuck it. It's like enough that if we just talk about it a little longer, it could be its own thing. So we made it its own thing. I titled it whatever I titled it, forgot what I titled it, and then have to look it up every time I make a new one because
wait. So now we're podcasting. Technically, we've got 4, right? Or 3. Sorry, 3 podcasts 4 times a week.
Yeah, and
Right.
he and I are trying to do some other like video stuff, but we haven't really done. We've done one thing.
Wait, well, I should get a second one then.
Are you even capable of talking about something that we don't talk about here?
Here's the thing.
Because we've set the parameters here. Pussy.
Right, but here's the thing. Listen to this. Listen to this. Listen. You are going to agree with me for once.
Okay.
If Blake Chadwick wasn't such a fucking mush mensch over here,
what?
Me and him could have had our own podcast where we talked about the things that we wanted to go on the road and talk about long ago. He would never do that, ever.
I'm all for it, but I know that involves personal responsibility on the two of you, and
right.
You think I want to be on all of these, but if I'm not involved in them, they don't happen. So,
right. Well,
sadly, I've become like the Conrad Thompson of the Breakfast Club podcast.
You have, right? And if anybody doesn't know who Conrad is, he has a he
has like a little empire of podcasts where it's all wrestlers, but he's like the guy that talks to them. And it's like I try not to be like that. It's about me all the time. I like these are yours, and the others is like me and Marco and whatever.
Right.
But I'm like, I don't want to be the center of attention, and I'm trying not to be. But if I'm not involved in each one, it doesn't happen. It's not like you guys are going to just like, remember to do it on time, get it in, and I don't have to fucking do anything. So here we are.
But I'm just saying, if we had I'm gonna let out a secret here. So a couple times, me and Blake have discussed that, like we wanted to take this like show on the road like we were kind of joking, where we would go
different variations of this, like either doing seminars how to do this stuff, or where people pay you on how to. But go ahead.
Almost like, you ever seen the movie Hitch?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the movie Hitch? I think me and Chadwick are like, we could be modern day Hitches. We can get people like, hook them up, set them up, right?
It's funny how
we're going down. This is just about. What? Let's change. No.
It's fine.
We're going down a bad path.
It's fine.
Here.
I like that you're throwing Blake under the bus.
He's not gonna listen.
We could do months of this, just pure content of burying Blake. We could literally have a podcast called Burying Blake, and I think it would be our highest rated.
Well, maybe that's what we do. We do Burying Blake.
How long before he even notices we have a podcast?
Right,
entitled?
A podcast. We don't even tell him. We just, every week we bury him for like 10 minutes. It's a 10-minute podcast where we just bury him.
We did I did one podcast with Blake. We were going to do his own thing. First of all, he decides to do it walking around. Like, he's just out walking while he's talking to me.
Well, that's typical Chadwick.
And it's like every conceivable loud fucking noise in the world. It was borderline. There was one point he was like under a fucking drawbridge that was going up, and the clanging bell. Swear to fucking God. You would think you're making this shit up. No. And
wow.
and the cars whizzing by as he's like wherever the fuck he was going, walking to the beach, walking to Publix, whatever he was doing. And then he went way too far in like the shit he was talking about, and had to be like, I don't think I can do this. I'm like, it's borderline. We should pull that podcast. Like, it's just like, it's like, it's like about some. It's literally about the stuff.
Wait, no, I don't want to do pod. Never mind. Forget I even said that. But
it would have been really good. But it would have been
right.
It would have gotten him in trouble, and he's still trying to be some kind of public figure. So
right. None of us care, but this does bring up. Or I know you told me not to talk about it, but I feel like I have to talk about it.
I'm all for it because I don't think anyone in our.
Did you say you're all for it? Is that what you said?
Yes. All right. Fair enough. Continue, my friend.
So we have
Oh,
we have a mutual friend, Bobby Rogers. We're gonna have him on the show
who
one day,
we've mentioned many times.
Right, and he's got stories upon stories.
Yeah, but
he's got stories about me that I don't ever want him to tell.
You're dreading.
But,
it's this push and pull. He'd be gold on our podcast, but at the same time,
my mom could be listening. I don't want her.
We know she listened once. That's for sure.
Right. I don't need her being like, you did what? The hardcore kitten? I don't need that to happen.
Well, here's the thing: you have mentioned the story you don't want told 18 times, where people are starting to get the idea of whatever the fuck it is you don't want to have tossed.
Anyway, Bobby calls. He calls me yesterday, and he says he had a dream. And Bobby's a very creative person. He's smart, but doesn't really sometimes he doesn't make smart decisions, but he's one of the smartest people ever. So he has a dream, right? And his dream is that there was a group in his dream. It was.
Can we say he had a dream, not he has a dream?
He had a dream.
It
right.
sounds a little too MLK-ish for a minute.
Okay, so he had a dream. His dream was that there was a group of a couple guys. It was myself. It was you, right?
Uh-huh.
It was Jackie, our friend Jackie, who we've talked about. He passed away, Double J.
Rest in peace.
And it was Marco.
Uh-huh.
And we were a group, and our name was a play off of the famous wrestling group, the Four Horsemen, right? But in his dream, we were the... When I started to think about the name,
I can't believe you just lost it. It's making me cry over here.
Hold on, I can't. When I go to say the name, I can't get it out. So he instead of calling us the Four Horsemen. So if you don't know who the Four Horsemen were, it was variations of Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard, famous wrestlers. They were a group. There was a couple other guys. Sometimes had Barry Windham at one point.
You had Sting and
Sid
Luger
Vicious,
in there.
right?
At the end of it, you had guys like Chris Benoit and Steve McMichael and Dean Malenko.
So the Four Horsemen, the original, Ole Anderson, they were known as Ric Flair was all the women, and he wore the fancy clothes, and they were like that group in wrestling where like Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard wore those Coke, looked like they were snorting Coke all day, sunglasses, they were, and they were dressed to impress, and they were like that's who you wanted to be.
It was before this. There wasn't really a group of men that were all kind of like top guys that banded together, and they projected this image that they lived. Private planes, limos, broads, blow, booze.
Right.
They lived the lifestyle, in and out of the ring, on TV, off TV, and it got over. The fans ate it up. And for the most part, they were bad guys through the majority of it.
Right.
And just nothing like this had ever existed. And then everything since is kind of anytime you have a group of wrestlers, you can't help but draw comparisons, no matter what it is. It's always going to be compared to the greatest group that ever was, which was this group.
Right. So anyway, now you have a story. So Bobby has this dream, and he goes, he's the way he told me. He said, I had this dream, and you guys, it was Ben, Jackie, and Marco, and you guys were like the Four Horsemen, but your name. He goes, your name was the Fork Horseman. And I said, the what? He said, the Fork Horseman. I'm like a fork you eat? This is how the conversation is going. And he goes, yeah, and you guys carry it around forks as if we were just eating off random plates. I don't even know.
Well, I picture, first of all, in the Four Horsemen, they always stood there, and when they were done talking, they would they would all stand and pose, and they'd hold their four fingers up, tuck the thumb in and hold the four fingers up. That was their sign. So I picture us pulling the fork out and doing the same
thing. We all have four-pronged forks,
but
we're holding them up.
I love the idea, at any moment's notice, we're at the ready with a eating utensil so that no matter what food situation comes our way, we are prepared. We're not just ready for like a sandwich, which you only need your hand for. We're ready for fucking, a plate of spaghetti or whatever comes. We're ready because a fork can handle it. I love it.
And he said, and he said in his dream, it was vivid. Like we had our forks. Like we all had our forks ready to go at all times, and we were the 4 horsemen. And then he said that Grumpy Ben was Ric Flair. Woo. I'm like, how the fuck? But here's the best part. Ric Flair would do what? What does Ric Flair do? He goes, woo, right?
Right.
Bobby said, you didn't woo. You would eat and go, whoo. Like you took a deep breath and let it out like, whoo. So as part of the 4 horsemen, Ric Flair's walking around going, woo! And Grumpy Ben's walking around going, whoo! Because you're so full.
Like I picture and every time I'm rubbing my wrist, the back of my wrist over my forehead, like I'm wiping sweat off my brow as I do it. Woo.
Yeah, like you just took a deep breath and your pants aren't even fitting, and
I'm in the middle of the meat sweats and I'm breathing heavy from eating too much. Yeah.
So now we have the 4 horsemen. So
I messaged him after you told me this.
Right, because I called you immediately,
and I said this is like the most brilliant idea ever, and so he continues. He goes, oh yeah. It's a 2-way play, too, and I guess maybe he hadn't told you at that point yet.
He didn't tell me this. No, he didn't. I heard it from you after.
He goes, also, you could do, individually and not as a group, you could do the 4 horsemen.
The 4 horsemen?
Where you just are capable of eating 4 courses of food at any given time.
What's your gimmick?
That was even better. literally, we're just Facebook messaging. I literally had to sit down. I was laughing so hard.
The 4, but I had the visual image of me, you, Marco, and Jackie at a buffet, and we're walking through, and it's being filmed in slow motion. We're all in suits, and we're walking, and as we're walking, we all take our forks out, and we don't even break stride. We're just scooping food off people's plates and just eating it. And everybody is in awe that the 4 horsemen are in the buffet. And then as we get to the end, we stop. We all hold up our forks, and you go, whoo. That's the end of the promo. That's the end of the video.
This is gold. This is fucking money. I agree. That's amazing. We have to next time we're all together. We have to remind ourselves to all bring our suits. If you're down in Florida, bring your suit, and we are fucking going to a buffet and filming this.
Well, but then he's like, "Well, Jackie's dead, so you guys couldn't do it." And I swear this is the conversation.
Oh my God!
I said, "Well, we could always use Blake," and Bobby goes,
and Blake is qualified. Jackie's not an eater; he's a drinker.
No,
Blake's
an eater.
Blake is a fucking pig. He's that guy that controls himself for 2 weeks, but has been planning his fucking day of hedonism for that whole time, and has it's borderline eating disorder the way he behaves.
Right, and Bobby says,
yeah.
Blake will never do it. I was like, fuck, everybody knows this guy won't. But,
it requires him to show up somewhere and do something without getting paid for it. So there's no way.
Maybe we can schmooze him with a free meal or something.
I would gladly pay for his ticket to the buffet.
That's a pretty funny video if you think about it.
As you were painting it, I saw it in
Me too. I can visualize
4K HD, 3D color.
But can I tell you something?
Yeah.
The way I can picture it happening, but for some reason in my visualization, you actually have Ric Flair's hair. You don't have your own hair. You have Ric Flair's hair, but it's you.
Like the platinum blonde,
Yes,
mullety.
That's what I'm picturing.
Mullety style, like big
Right.
poofy 80s, 70s, 80s, Farrah Fawcett-y, feathered back hair, the suit.
With the Coke sunglasses
the cocaine,
on, like you just did a line.
cowboy
Right.
sunglasses, yeah,
Right.
and like, and like, a nice fucking watch. Reach in. I've got a matching whatever bejeweled watch I have. My fork matches it with like
right. You have like a gold fork with a gold watch, right? Like, yeah, like totally. I can visualize this entire thing happening. Right.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think this has to happen. The Four Horsemen has to happen.
I'm like ready to change all our branding. I'm ready to like.
Oh God! Now we're gonna be the Four Horsemen.
I'm ready to get. To change the Breakfast Club to the Four Horsemen.
That's it. Everybody, get your wallets ready. Four Horsemen shirts coming soon.
The irony would be if it's only the three of us, but we're called the Four Horsemen. Like, technically, it doesn't have the word "four" in it. We were just just like associating that it could be four, but like that, like if that's if Blake wouldn't want to play ball, or we couldn't get like a Billy or someone to, or Earl. Maybe Earl. God. Earl would be down to be one of the Four Horsemen. I know that.
Four fucking horsemen. What a
Earl's an eater. He probably still eats like he's a
linebacker.
Yeah, not a linebacker. He's a defensive lineman, but
defensive lineman. Yeah,
a nice pass rusher.
Wow. Well, yeah. So I'm glad we got to tell the Four Horsemen story. I've been holding that out all day today. I couldn't wait to tell it.
Yeah. That's
my favorite part is you going as you finish eating.
It's kind of mine too. So, but I mean, like, did we put it to thought any other parts of the gimmick, like you and Marco, or is it just like?
So Bobby said in the conversation, he goes, and you and Marco were the tag team. Right. You were Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard. Right. That's who me and Marco were. And again, Tully and Arn, they were always the tag team champions. And I always remember they wore when they didn't wear suits. Arn and Tully wore these like satin like jackets, like
the shiny.
Almost like I don't even.
Yeah, they were the shiny satin jackets. Yeah, right. That had like custom embroidery on them.
Right, and they always wore their aviator coat glasses, and you could never see their eyes, and they always held their title belts with their one arm like to the side. Like I would hold my fork like that.
Oh.
Right. Like I've envisioned all this already. Like I'm thinking about making a return to the ring and like we can just all be the Four Horsemen. That's it. Marco better get back in shape after he ate 45 tacos today.
Well, I'll tell you, he came by the other day and I gave him the once over to. I was only because you and I are so out of control right now. I was like when he came over, I gave him a quick up and down, hoping that he was like was a sloppy fucking mess. And he's like he's not fat at all, and I'm like really annoyed by it. He's like eating like shit, and he's working.
Tacos? Didn't he say he had a whole bunch of Taco Bell today?
He had like a work depression binge, and ate like he said he went to Taco Bell and had like fucking. I don't know how many tacos he said he had, 6 or 8 or whatever.
Well, speaking of Taco Bell and being off the wagon, I definitely had Taco Bell yesterday for lunch. So
yeah.
So yeah, I'm out of control. I'm hurting. I'm not gonna lie. I'm hurting.
I ate so much yesterday that I did one of those like that's it, and took I took the rest of the boxes of pasta and shit that were mine in the house. Threw them all in the garbage. I was like, that's it.
No.
Yeah, I threw them out. I was like, the only way to not eat this at this point is to fucking pretend it's Passover and get all the fucking bread out of the house.
Oh, my God.
I had to do it. It was bad. I was like...
I'm hurt. I'm hurt.
Every 3 hours I was eating something, and it wasn't like, it wasn't on the approved list of foods I should be eating, so...
I'm hurt. I'm hurt.
Yeah, I'm in
right
trouble.
now.
I like I wouldn't be able to fit in a suit to film this promo. I'd have to go rent. One.
Go rent a suit.
Yeah. I got like 6 suits in the closet that haven't seen the light of day in like years, and I know better than to even try and fucking.
I mean, I
slip
struggle
a
to get my
leg.
jeans on every morning.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's why I just assume every day if I try and call you during like normal working hours, I just assume
Yeah.
I like to assume you're home because the clothes won't allow you to go in out in
No,
the public.
yeah, right. It's embarrassing. Embarrassing.
Are you at the stage?
When you
Are
when
at
you
the-
can't zip your jacket up,
Oh my god!
it doesn't allow it to be.
Are you at the stage? You know how like you might have like pants of like like three sizes up and down that you've bought, but like that last pair for when you really go all the way up the fucking ladder, you only have one pair, so that gets like heavy rotation all of a sudden.
Today's Thursday. I've worn the same pants 3 days in a row.
The funny thing
It's all
is,
we got, pal. It's all we got.
the funny thing is that like you and I feel like I understand. I've been through everything you go through. Every time I like reference some bizarre like fat fuck thing, you're like right there with me. You're like, yep, 3 days in a row.
So ridiculous.
We're in trouble, man. I mean, I feel like the only motivations we have, like you even like started a weight loss competition and like fell out like because it wasn't like a one-on-one with me. Like there was
but here's the thing.
There was no motivation to do it.
No, there's not. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
And you got to admit this. I have till April. I can turn it on in the last 30 days, and I can crush everyone. It's possible. I know how to do this.
I feel like you're heavier than weigh-in day. Like you had started.
I've surpassed it. I'm going the other direction, pal.
Like you had started and you had worked your way like 15 pounds down from weigh-in, and now you've shot back the other way. Like you were on a fucking like a bungee cord. You fucking jumped off the bridge, and now you've like people watch you go down, and then you shot way up past them again. Yeah.
Right, I thought the contest was going the other direction.
Dude, you and I could win that too. The weight gain competition and the weight loss competition.
Is there such a thing as a weight gain competition? Because we're in.
I mean, if there was one with like a cash prize, I feel like we should just fucking enter it. We should diet.
God.
The irony would be like to diet down to enter a weight gain competition.
Jesus, we'd win.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to make macaroni and meatballs tonight.
Jesus Christ.
I figure I'm going to give myself the weekend, and then I'm going to get back on next week.
Now,
I'm going to start working out again.
To enter into the realm of noodle or macaroni, what kind of macaroni and meatball are we doing here?
So I'm going to go. I got pork and I got ground sirloin. I'm going to mix that with some breadcrumbs, some cheese, some Parmesan cheese, a little egg, maybe a little heavy cream, and then I'm going to bake them in the oven. I got my sauce. I'm going to start making the sauce here in a little bit, and then I'm going rigatoni.
Rigatoni.
I thought about raviolis tonight, but I said no.
What now?
Rigatoni is it?
Now the question would have been: would you have made raviolis and the meatballs? Like, because that's kind of
fuck yeah,
it's kind of redundant.
No way, I would have. Yeah, but so I will. Here's my update to this week. It has been a rough.
So what kind of sauce? Because when you see every
I'm making a nice red sauce.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, gotcha. I got fresh whole tomatoes. I'm going to put them in the blender to grind them up.
I got heartburn as soon as you said red sauce.
Well, so I was going to tell you this. I got to tell you, the last 2 nights I have not slept at all. I have had the worst acid reflux to the point where it's burning. It's burning in the chest, my throat. It's coming up like I'm like laying there, and it's like actual like vomit coming up, and I can't get comfortable, and I'm awake all night. I haven't slept in 2 nights. Yeah. So here's the problem: is I don't have any acid reducers. So I just went to Publix. I bought a nice 30-pack of acid reducers. I'm gonna pop one before I eat the pasta tonight, just so I can sleep, because I'm dying. I'm talking. The pain is so bad. I sit up and I'm like, I just want to rip my throat out. Like that's how bad it is.
I had one night like that, and I also did not have any Tums left.
Right.
You have literally described like burning the house down, and then instead of like going to get a bucket of water, you went and got some flame retardant shoes to dance in the fucking ashes of your own inferno there. I mean, why not pour more gas on the fire at this point, right? Fuck it.
Well, I'm just, I got a really bad headache. Like, this is just, everything is just falling apart.
Yeah, yeah. No, yesterday that was for me. Like, I had eaten so much that my body had like my midsection had swelled out. Like, it wasn't like like an hour later I wouldn't be that big, but I had literally just stuffed myself to capacity. And until my body started moving that shit around, I was like, holy shit, I look like a fucking beach ball.
I'll tell, I got two good eating stories here, to the point where these are pretty disgusting stories, but they have to be told. So
let's see if you can top my fucking mask one, because apparently I've offended a lot of people with that one.
Yes, you did, you dirty fuck. There's two times I remember. One night I decided to. This story is so fucking ridiculous. I was out of town for work, and I was with like a couple other people. Right? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You listening over there?
Yeah.
All right. So make sure my headphone didn't die.
No,
But we're out of town for work, and we were somewhere on the beach in, I don't know, the west coast of Florida. And let's just say I had some lady friends around. We'll just leave it at that, with a plural. I had this bright idea that I was going to eat oysters because it was going to make me a sex god that night.
How old were you at this time?
I was in my 20s, like, I don't know, early 20s.
Because we're talking like that's like an old school like performance enhancer.
And right, like, I wasn't thinking. I was excited. So
I just want to know if you had if you had issues back then, or you were.
No. In my head, I thought, like, this could be a long night.
Yeah.
So I eat these oysters, and I was enjoying them. So I ordered like another whole batch because they were like oysters. They were good, and I was like, man, I am going to be like a rabbit tonight. I ate so much oysters, I threw up for like 8 hours straight that night. I was puking bile up. It was just yellow coming out of me. We left the restaurant, and they're like, you don't look so good. I go, man, I ate like 48 oysters.
I'm curious if...
I was so sick. The food, you ever feel the food's like in your chest? I felt like the food was in my throat.
So it's definitely because you ate too much, not that you got like bad seafood?
No, I ate like 48 oysters, but I was putting like hot sauce on them, and I had the burning sensation of like the worst acid reflux ever. And it was probably from the hot sauce, and I started throwing up. I threw up for 8 hours, like bile was coming out, and I had to go to work the next day. So I ate all these oysters. I couldn't even perform because I was sick the whole fucking night. So that didn't work. The second time I remember was with Beanie Weenies, like little hot dogs. You know what I'm talking about? Like
little cocktail wieners?
Right. So I was at a friend's house, and it was the Super Bowl. It was down in Florida, and his wife made cocktail weenies.
Not the Vienna sausages that come in the can, right? But like
no. She made like Nathan's hot dogs.
Right, they're like the ones that get wrapped in the fucking croissants.
She wrapped, stuff like that. Right, she did it all herself, right?
Right.
So the party's going on, and I had a couple, and I'm like, nobody's eating these, and everybody's like, yeah, no, there's like so much other stuff. So I just kept eating them, and I don't drink. Everybody knows I don't drink, so I'm eating Beanie Weenies like there's no fucking tomorrow. So everybody gets they have like this giant hot tub, so everybody's like getting in the hot tub, and I'm like, they're like, hey, you should stop eating. You're eating too much. Like, chill. I'm like, no. And they always
like someone like in a mini intervention type of way said, you're eating at a party where everyone's drinking or whatever. Someone actually noticed you're eating too much.
They were like, you've eaten the whole tray like by yourself. Like there was like 50 Beanie Weenies. You got to slow down. And I'm like, whatever. And they're like, you're going to get sick. Like, you're going to get sick just because you're eating too much. And these guys always would tell me, they used to tell me, I worked with them, they used to always say, there's no way you're going to live till 40 because I've never seen someone eat like this in my life. So I'm eating, and then they're like, hey, everybody's getting in the hot tub. I get in the hot tub. I'm in there for 2 minutes. It's fucking hot. The water's boiling. I lean over the hot tub and vomited fucking beanie weenies. Like,
probably,
literally, like, to the point where it looked like I didn't even chew them.
Right, I was literally about to say, you were probably eating them so fast that they were coming up whole.
Right.
Yeah.
And there was like 4 or 5 beanie weenies on the floor, and I have that picture somewhere. I will find it. I'm like leaned over the hot tub with this weird fucking grimace on my face, like a dog after a dog like pukes. You ever see a dog pukes? And it's me leaning over, and there's beanie weenies on the floor, like in the picture, vomited up.
I would make this the thumbnail to the fucking podcast.
I gotta find it where it is, but and it's just overeating. Like, people would think, did you drink too much? No. I literally ate too much. Like, I didn't even know it was possible.
You got drunk on food.
Right. So brings me to last night. Sorry, not last. It was the night before.
Oh,
sorry,
God.
The night before. Tuesday night. I ate a lot, right?
Naturally.
And it was
a Tuesday. It was Tuesday.
Right. So we did the podcast Tuesday night, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember me saying that someone ordered me food?
Yeah. Well, I was gonna bring that up, but yes, I do remember that someone ordered you food.
Right. So I ate like my normal meal, and then I ate the garlic rolls and the pizza, whatever you call it. I was so sick Tuesday night. I'm talking like peeing out of my ass, like I couldn't sleep. I was like throwing up in my mouth. The burning sensation was fucking horrendous. So what would one do when they're in that situation? Maybe
what would
some Tums, maybe.
A normal person or you? I feel like you would put ice cream on top of it.
I went downstairs at like 2:30 in the morning and ate more garlic rolls.
Close enough. I figured with all the burning, you might have wanted to like put some ice cream on it.
Well, in my head, if I push it down with more food, I should be good, right?
You're fucking retarded.
Oh, it gets worse. I looked over and see the milk. I go, milk, that's going to heal me.
Oh,
but a normal human would just drink the milk. I made a bowl of cereal.
You're like, I can't just drink milk.
No, I don't even drink milk. I made a bowl of frosted shredded mini wheats.
Wouldn't it be funny if you're such a fucking pig with food that even your beverages, you're not capable of drinking. It has to be a chewing. Like water or your energy drinks or your coffee, like you can't just drink it. It has to be accompanied with a bite of food for it to go down.
Yeah,
I can't finish this coffee without another donut. Like I can't I can't just swallow liquid. There's got to be some like food in that.
Yeah. Well, and then today, I'll tell you, today, I woke up today.
Jesus Christ. Oh
I was fine today, right? Like today, I ate last night normal. Today I was fine. I didn't eat breakfast. I had my coffee. I didn't eat I say I didn't eat breakfast. Once I got going today, I got on the road. I got another coffee at McDonald's and 2 Egg McMuffins, but whatever.
That's hardly a breakfast for you.
But it was like 11 o'clock.
Okay.
Like lunchtime.
Brunch.
So I had 2 Egg McMuffins. I had my coffee. I get to my first store, and they ordered Jason's Deli. So I had a turkey wrap, a chocolate chip cookie.
All before noon, huh?
And a donut. But whatever. I mean, they had donuts. What was I going to do? Not eat the donut?
Yeah.
So then...
Yes. That's
I came home. I'm going to make macaroni and meatballs. But pre-macaroni and meatballs, I saw mini chocolate donuts.
Oh, my God. Like
I had 4 of them with milk as an appetizer. So
the milk is like
I'm out of fucking control.
I gotta be honest with you, the milk repulses me. Like I can't. Like
I don't drink milk, but
it's disgusting.
Ever.
Like I can't dip. Like I'm not a cookies and milk guy. I can't. Milk is disgusting. It's like You should, as a grown ass adult, you really shouldn't be using milk unless you're cooking with it, and like even then, it's like. Ugh.
All I know is, look, for those listeners out there, we need an intervention. I'm out of control again. I've lost my way. It's a whole bunch of things though. Like I'm all over. I think this is a midlife crisis. I think it's happening to me. Like I think I'm going. Like this is happening.
Instead of buying nice shit, you're just having 2 extra meals a day.
I'm eating like crazy. I'm literally obsessing about selling my house and moving to the Northeast. And I'm even thinking, who fucking needs a job? I don't need a job. I'm just gonna live life. Like this is my thought process. This is a midlife crisis. It's happening.
It's yeah. So let's get back to someone sending you food. I did put out into the world on our podcast.
I was going to bring this up. Right?
I literally put my address out there, hoping that one fucking listener would send me a pizza, just so that I would feel as special as you do on a daily basis, where everyone's sending you food and fucking mugs and titty pics and whatever the fuck else you get.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
I'm here. I sent my address out there, and at 5:00 when I said, I sent it like around 5:30. Nothing came yesterday.
You waited at the door, didn't you? You were waiting.
No. I didn't. Actually, I didn't wait for it. I forgot I had done it, but I never got a knock on the door. I went out I even at like 9:00 when I thought about it, looked outside to see if there was a pizza box sitting there, like in case they did that contact.
What are they, Amazon? They're going to leave it?
Yeah, contactless delivery. No, they do that. Some places do that. So nothing. Nobody cared enough to send me a pizza.
Wow.
So it's all you.
You're
get
not worth the shit. What it is because they all think you're a disgusting fucking animal wearing people's masks off.
They should appreciate the fact that the only reason they get to listen to you on a podcast is because
this is true.
And
this is true. And I agree with that.
Token of appreciation. Just once, send me a pizza.
Somebody asked me this week about the Breakfast Club podcast, and I said we, and the guy said, "Who's we?" Somebody helps you,
right?
And I said, my exact words were, my buddy Ben, he's like my handler. He leads me. He leads me along the way. I go because if it was me by myself, this would be it's a shit show now. It would have been an absolute shit show otherwise.
It would have been 3 episodes over the course of 5 months.
Right. So I said he's my handler. He's like he leads me. So yeah.
Yeah. I thought I found the cash cow. Instead, I don't know what
became the cash cow. I don't know.
Instead, it's like a bit of a muddy pit. So
right. So are you saying was it Tom Hanks and
who
was it?
The girl from Cheers.
Forgot her name.
Whatever.
Shelley. What's her name?
Shelley Long.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, we've gone way too long. This is the end of this. I just weighed myself. It's 2:54. Let's end the podcast.
2:54.
Yeah.
I wish. At some point, your weight and the number of episodes we're on, the episode number is going to it's going to collide. So I can't wait for that day. That should be like next year at some point, because you're never going to diet down to that number. We're constantly going to be chasing you.
And here's the best part.
Yeah.
You said by Easter, you're fucking spot on. I almost had you fooled.
Oh, right. Remember my Nostradamus prediction of your...
But I almost had you fooled because I was back on track, but it turned right back around.
Right.
It's you knew.
No. Listen, once we fall off the wagon, we both know, without admitting it, that first attempt never takes. It's got to be like... It's like quitting smoking. It's like... Or drugs or a drunk that's trying to stop drinking. The first couple of times... That cold turkey shit, you're gonna stumble. So I knew that when you said, "Oh, I'm gonna have a whenever you started, if it was for Thanksgiving or something."
Right.
I just listed all the occasions which would provide you an excuse to eat, and I knew you wouldn't get back on track till at least Easter.
Yeah, I know. All right, well, that's it. I'm done with this.
So we're gonna try and be professional here and promote the podcast 4 days a week, and we have a nice website to go buy merchandise. Oh, look, he's already cooking, making a fucking...
I'm fucking starving at 7 o'clock.
You are... Let me tell you something. We have just established you are not starving, okay? You just are addicted. You are just addicted to food. And you can't go fucking 20 minutes without a hit of sugar. So,
all right, we're done. Wrap it up here.
Social medias, yada yada. Fuck me. All right, let's get out of here.
All right, goodbye.
Okay, bye.